This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion. Yeah, you know what? I got to get this going because 8 o'clock's going to roll up fast, and my Cold Lake Ice will be playing tonight, and I got to make sure I am taking care of those things. Fortunately, this game won't be available to watch on YouTube due to, I guess, regional restrictions apply with this game. The Cold Lake Ice are going to play tonight against the St. Paul Canadiens, who will have their live broadcast of the game on their service this evening. However, the Edmonton Oilers, why am I talking about them today? Well, we've got news coming out of a 4-3 overtime victory where Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid absolutely broke out of the slump in, well, the most magical way. I don't know how else you say it, right? Lit it up, killed it, crushed it, good to go. Bang, victory in the column. We're 8-2-1 after 11 games. We're 17 points, which is much higher than that 15.66 when you do the math average over 6 months to get into the 94-point slot, in which gets you a playoff spot in the Western Conference this year. My math, people's other math might be different. But let's get to that news, because this is where we're going to have to sit here and argue a little bit about what's going on. Is the simple fact that, well, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Curry is going to be a name I'll mention in a few minutes, but the name you're looking for first is Josh Archibald, who has been placed on the injured reserve. And I'm not making this up. Another Edmonton Oilers hurt, and Josh Archibald will be out for 2 to 4 weeks with a right foot fracture, if I read that right. Hold on, let me see. Yep, right foot fracture. There you go. Yeah. So, all of a sudden, this Edmonton Oilers team bounces back from a loss, or from 2 losses in a row, lights up the Capitals in comeback fashion, does some things right, does some things wrong, and, well, one of our really good penalty killers, one of our strong bottom 6 guys that's just not been able to bite it offensively, gets out of the lineup due to injury. And now that begins to beg the question, how do you replace a bona fide NHLer when you've already called up your next best thing in Sam Gagner from the AHL? Well, let's go look at that Bakersfield Condors roster, ladies and gentlemen, because here is the thing with this team, is I'll go by players' stats and I'll kind of give you an idea, right? You've got Brad Malone down there in Bakersfield. Guys, it does not matter how many points Brad Malone puts up in the AHL. He doesn't put points up in the NHL. So I would not mess with the mojo and bring him up, because he's a leader on that Bakersfield team. Josh Curry, 5 points, 6 games, 4 goals, 1 assist. That's your hot stat on Josh Curry. And now I've already mentioned him, right? I already said his name once, and I told you I was going to mention it a couple more times. Well, Josh Curry is my absolute odds-on favorite guy to get the call up. Now, yeah, you know what? The Condors team is thin on who realistically we can call up without calling up somebody with no real valuable NHL experience. Obviously, we've had a couple other guys in there, and we'll get to them in a second. But Josh Curry or Joseph Gambardella really are the best 2 picks we have. But there you go. Already, I know the drawback when I mention those names is, aren't those the names that didn't really help us last year? It's true. But the one thing that can be said about Josh Curry and Joseph Gambardella to a point is, you look at when they were inserted into the lineup for the Oilers last year, given the injuries and stuff, or when they were called up, whatever the situation may be, they actually were, to a degree, impactful. Josh Curry, the reason I like him so much is he's a guy that goes out there and gives it 110% a shift and will play as many minutes as you need him to without getting burnt out. You absolutely love him. He's go, 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 go. Just like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Now, he's not that talented, ladies and gentlemen. Not to that degree, not really to his second line degree. But the thing with Josh Curry is he's a guy who's played in minor pro hockey for a lot of years. And what that brings is he knows how to grind it out and get the job done in more ways than just putting the puck in the net and moving his feet. He knows the ways, the intricacies of hockey. So, why Josh Curry? Well, go back to what he did with that Milan Lucic, Colby Cave line for a couple of games last year. Guys, Milan Lucic did not move his feet more than 3 games last year. And in all 3 of those games, I will damn well argue Josh Curry was on his line. without a doubt. And that's what I love about Josh Curry. His passion, his effort, his enthusiasm, his heart, his hustle, his compete is infectious. And guys, that's where you can see, right? Obviously, yeah, you know what? Archibald's a third line guy, or depends how you slot the bottom two lines and what kind of roles you give them. But you look at that Kara Sheehan line, well, Patrick Russell's been up there, so why wouldn't you give Patrick Russell the time to get it going on that line? Give them good shifts. The guys, that line eats in the offensive zone. They don't score, but they eat. There is not a mistake to be made there. So what does that leave you? Well, that leaves you, I guess, well, that does leave you. You've got Yurko, Granlund, Gagne, and then you would have Curry or Gambardella on that pair. And remember what I said. The first guys to get call-ups, if they were cut from this NHL team, would be Curry and Gambardella. Now, I didn't expect to see, well, I didn't expect to see you have Gagne down there, so I blew that. But now, okay, why am I not saying Colby Cave as a solution here? Well, guys, here's the thing, right? I think you're going to lose a winger. I'd rather bring up a winger than another centerman, because realistically, look at how this lineup's built. You've got Sheehan, Granlund, Gagne in that six, or in those three spots in the bottom six. Now, Curry and Gambardella are wingers, and they've played there their entire career for as much as I know. That's, to my knowledge, the extent of my knowledge is they're wingers through and through. So, with that in mind, well, what does that mean? Okay, you get a bona fide winger who knows how to play the style, can play the style in the NHL and get the job done. And, of course, Curry scored goals in the NHL, so let's not kid ourselves there either. So there's a couple of benefits there over Colby Cave, who would have to transition to the wing, or he'd have to transition Marcus Granlund to the wing, or stuff like that, right? There's a couple of changes that would have to happen to this lineup. Whereas if you want to go plug and play, Curry and Gambardella are the easiest, most sensible solutions. And the reason I'd like to keep Colby Cave down there in the AHL is I don't want to shuttle Colby Cave. Because what Colby Cave needs to achieve, similar to Kyler Yamamoto, similar to Evan Bouchard, similar to Cooper Marody, and similar to Gaetan Oss, is the simple fact that he just needs to go down there, tear it up, and come back to the NHL with the sense that if I'm doing that well down there, there's no reason I can't do it up here. There's no excuse anymore. I know what I am. And I really don't think at this point calling up Colby Cave does that for this Oilers team and bringing him up and saying, oh, I know what I am now. No, Colby Cave this season has not played enough games to know what he is. Let him light it up for 10-20, and then you know what? Okay, well, we've got 2 to 4 weeks without Josh Archibald, so you factor in maybe 3 weeks, somewhere in there, 3 games a week. You're talking somewhere between 7 to 12 games. That would be your stretch that you're losing Josh Archibald for. That's a significant chunk of the season. Don't get me wrong. That's a seventh of the season right there, potentially, or down to as much as an 11th of the season. You see the math, right? There's a couple of stuff to be tossed around. So, okay. All right. So, there you go. That's my explanation, right? At that point, you know what to do, right? Then you'd have Colby Cave, and you can talk about creating a different roster look after that. And of course, you should be starting to discuss the fact that, we've got Adam Larsson coming back sometime soon, right? That'll be the thing with Adam Larsson. He'll be coming back sometime soon around then. I mean, a lot sooner than now, at least to my credit. And we'll hopefully start shaping this roster. And we're 9 games roughly in more that we know what this roster is capable of, right? Guys, right now, Josh Archibald could go out of the lineup for the next 7 to 12 games. And the bottom 6 from here to, let's see, 4 weeks. Let me go sit and, I haven't actually looked at the calendar. Maybe I should do that. Let's go sit on the calendar. So we're on the 27th. We're on the 25th. 27th is our next game. So 25th. 28 days. Well, there's 6 more to go, 22. So technically speaking, we would be in the midst of a 5-game road trip. We'd be going into game three of the road trip at Vegas on a Saturday night game on the 23rd of November, when Josh Archibald is roughly back, tail end long term of this thing. Now, yeah, we're talking 2 weeks, so technically we could be talking the 10th against the Anaheim Ducks in Anaheim. But ladies and gentlemen, look at it this way, right? There's a couple of options there, and realistically, if you look at how much time that is, that's a lot of time. We're talking up to a month away, and that is a significant portion of the NHL season. You want to talk about this Oilers team not being for real? We'll know if they're for real or not by the 23rd of November. So, simple go, right? Safe play, in my mind, is don't overreact, don't call up a prospect, don't call up somebody who doesn't need to be up here. Josh Curry, Joseph Gambartella, take your pick, and don't plug and play incorrectly, which would be meaning Colby Cave without his confidence back. So, couple of options, easy options I'd say, and that's the beauty of this for the Oilers. We get to see how Ken Holland is going to handle another piece of adversity, and I'm very much so looking forward to it. Guys, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Give me your thoughts in the comment section down below. I am up on out of here.